I wanted to highlight just a quick little segment of the cleaning process here. So what I'm using is a little bit of this mineral spirits here, okay? I got this little bucket right here in a chip brush, and taking it and just kind of wetting this. I don't know if it's Cosmoline, but it's a product similar to Cosmoline, but watching Brad clean his lathe, Brad Jacob, this little trick helped out pretty good. So just kind of wet it down, just coat it, and it starts softening that up. And it really gets to where, even with the brush, see, it'll just start breaking it apart there. So I've got that, and I've also got a rag here that I keep wet with the mineral spirits, and you come back and just kind of wipe it, and it comes off pretty easy. So that's what I'm doing, just going over all the controls. And we've already got most of the controls on the front of the carriage here already cleaned off. Everything's looking pretty good. So working on the tailstock, using that technique there, and it comes off really easy, so it's not hard to clean at all. And then I'll move over here and start working on these controls and the chuck. Welcome back to the shop, everyone. Today is the day. We finally have our Precision Matthews 1660 TL lathe wired up, and it is ready for our first test. Really excited to get this thing fired up, show it to you, share it with you, show you the features of it, and get this thing broken in today, which is what we need to do. We have a break-in procedure. So I'm going to go ahead and just give you a little walk around to show you where we're at now. Last time you saw it, I was still cleaning it, so it is fully clean now and ready to go. An electrician finished his work yesterday evening. We've got it wired up, and we're going to fire it off so you guys can see that. So I will come around here to kind of show you what it looks like on the backside and what I had my electrician do. So we have a circuit. I actually have two receptacles here, and this one obviously is going to be running the Precision Matthews lathe. And I wanted it like this so that I could unplug it and move this out of the way and get back here and sweep up and access the back without conduit or anything in the way, okay? That is a 30 amp, 3-phase receptacle and plug, all right? And then the other thing that I had him do was for the DRO, we went ahead and he wired up the power cord for the monitor here, the display. He went ahead and wired it up inside the panel there for me as well. All right, so, and I've got all of the cords here for the display kind of zip tied together, try to get everything as clean looking as I could. So this disconnect here is a dedicated 100 amp circuit that he ran to power the pacemaker lathe. And then we come out, and I have another receptacle here that is going to be used for a future machine. He went ahead and got this, hooked in while he was doing the work, and obviously running down so that we can run our Precision Matthews lathe. So we got her all cleaned up now to the best of my ability, and only thing I didn't clean was this 4-way tool post, because I plan on removing this I'm going to be installing a multi-fix 40 position style of tool post. That'll be coming up pretty soon. We've got to machine the mount for it and everything, but we're going to get to that at another time. But it's looking good, real happy with it. So let's go ahead and get to it. Let's fire this thing off and show you what it's like. So we'll come up here to our e-stop. Bam, indicating we got power. And then I also want to point out, we've got our LED light here. And we can turn that guy on. And then all of our DRO will come around to the back and fire it up. That'll take a few seconds to warm up and get going. Here we go. Exact digital readout, the MX200. Okay, so let's see here. We'll go ahead and put it in low gear, and we are going to be in 1. So 36 RPM. Here we go. I'm going to turn the light off so that we're not getting any reflection. There it is. It's nice and smooth. I'm real happy with it. I have not run through the gears yet, so you guys are going to see this for the first time, including myself, running through the gears. So I want to point out, so I'm going to be doing a break-in procedure today on the machine. And we've got the owner's manual. I've read it, and that's how they instruct you to do it is we want to go through each gear range, okay, and run it for 10 minutes in each gear. After we do that 10 minutes in each gear, I believe it was 620. They said put it in 620 and run it for 15 more minutes. We're also going to be running through our gearbox here for our feed rod. That's part of the break-in procedure there as well. And then once the break-in is done, you know, through all the gears and the time listed there, they want you to do an oil change on both the headstock and the feed box down here. So we'll be getting to that after our break-in. But I'm going to go ahead and get you on a tripod, and let's go through the gear range and see it run and listen to the headstock on how it sounds through each gear selection. So for our speed range on the headstock here, we have low speed, medium speed, and high speed, and then we have a neutral between low and medium. And then you've also got 4 gear ranges there. And then this lever right here is going to adjust 1, 2, 3, and 4, you know, according to these guys right there. All right, there's a little button here on this part of the control that indicates where it's lined up. So right now we're in low speed and we're in position 1. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna bring the clutch hand a little closer. Let's just run through them all just to kind of listen to what each gear sounds like. So, you know, most lathes sound a little different from each other. Some of them are extremely loud in the high gear ranges. Some of them aren't so loud. That's one of the things I've always noticed with some of the lathes that I run. Even my Victor at the other shop, it's quite noisy in the high gears. So I'm real curious to see what this one is going to sound like. So we'll just go in order. We're going to go down to 2. Actually, that's 4. Okay, so that is gear selection 2, low speed. Just used a foot brake down here, by the way, but I'll go ahead and demonstrate that. So we got our foot brake. You can hit it anytime, automatically comes to a stop, and the brake works really good. All right, let's pull this over to 3. 70 RPM. So far it's sounding pretty even with each gear. So let's put it into 4. It's going to be all the way to the left. 105 RPM. Okay, everything's sounding good. Now we'll go ahead, let's bring this back to 1. 2, 1, and we're gonna go from low speed to medium range. That's your neutral right there. One more, that's gonna be medium. So 130 RPM. That is nice and smooth. That's a nice quiet gear right there. I can tell a little bit more gear noise in this range right here, which is normal for your higher gears. Yeah, that sounds great right there. All right, let's try 2. 180. Nice. Very nice. Nice and smooth and quiet. This is probably going to be a really common used gear range right through here, the gray color. Medium. All right, we'll go to 3, all the way to the right. So this is 250. All right, and let's go to 380. All right, I think everything's sounding good. Go back to 1, 2, 1, and then we're going to bring this down into high speed. All right. Okay, so 620. Nice. That sounds great right there. All right, let's go to 900. Sounds good. All right, let's go to 1200. Very nice. Nice and smooth. It's a lot quieter than I expected it to be in these high gears right there. It really is. So let's go ahead and open her up, wide open. We're gonna go to 1800, so we need to go to 4. Here we go. That is impressive. I like that. Like every other gear, it's nice and smooth, and it's not loud. I mean, it's not like some of the other lathes that I've run. All right. That is impressive. I really like that. It's, what can I say? It's smooth and it's not loud. It's not overly loud. I think it's gonna work really good. So I'm gonna drop this back down into, let's just go to medium right there. And we'll just go ahead and we'll go into 2. And what I wanna do is engage the feed rod and the lead screw and see these guys work as well. So all this here is gonna be for your feed box controls there to set whatever thread pitch you wanna cut or whatever feed rate you wanna cut. All right, so let's go ahead and put it in a feed. I'm gonna go ahead and set it in an 11 thousandths feed rate, which is my sort of standard roughing feed rate when you're just generally turning. So this one will control forward or reverse direction on your feed rod and lead screw. We're gonna put it in forward. Actually, we probably gotta put this in first. So we got low range and high range. Put it over in the low range, and then we are in the, okay, there's forward and reverse right there. And then so for 11 thousandths feed rate, we want LCR4W. So L up here, C, so we got ABC, RST, and then VWXYZ. All right, so LCR4W, L, C, R, 4, and then we're in W right there. There's V and there's W. I will say these 3 controls here seem to be a little stiff and sticky. I think that with some use, they're going to wear in, and they're going to start getting a little bit easier to move there. But they are a little, this range right here is a little sticky on the control, but I think it's going to break in real well. So we should be running 11,000 feed rate in that position right there. So here's a little look at the controls on the carriage here. This one is going to be operating your feed, your automatic feed. So you need to pull it to the left and push down to activate your cross feed. Bring it to the center to disengage. Pull it to the right. This is going to be for your longitudinal feed, and then pull it up for that. You can see the hand wheel feeding there. And then so if you want to reverse direction, this is forward and reverse right there. You have a neutral range all the way in to change direction, forward and reverse. Just like that. Okay. Then of course you have your, this is for engaging your half nuts right there, your half nut lever. And then this feature right here, this is a nice plunge oiler, and you can give this guy a couple of pumps, and it's going to pump oil up to the ways. And this thing, it runs nice. It glides nice and smooth across those V-ways, man. Love that. You also have a cup oiler right here where you can put a little oil in there as well. So one of the features I wanted to point out is the dial here for you got it both on your cross feed and on the compound up here, but you can read in either inch or metric. So right now we're reading in inch, okay? And if you want to go to metric, all you do is you just turn this guy right here. There's a little ball detent right here, and you just twist it and spin this guy around. I need to do a little more cleaning there, but you can see now you have your metric reading here on the bottom side. So there's two graduations on this dial here, and you just have a little window on either side. Once you flip it around, if you look again, you'll see the window is towards the top side showing the inch graduations. Flip it around here, the window's on the bottom showing your metric graduations. So each revolution is 200 thousandths of an inch. You also have inch and metric on your compound feed there as well. Here's a look at our tailstock. You do have 6 inches of travel. They also have a metric scale across there as well. That's real nice. You have the slot here for your Morse taper for the tang if you need to put a drift in there to remove a tool. And then on the back side, you have your clamp here. That clamps the tailstock to the bed. And then for your spindle clamp, that's this guy right here. This is another really nice feature of the lathe. This is a support for both of the lead screw and the feed rod here. You can just loosen up the bolts that hold the clamp to it, and you can slide this guy down. And you can see feed rod, it cradles the feed rod and the lead screw there. So you can actually, whenever you're running down on the headstock side, which is where we got the carriage now, you can slide this down here about halfway and just lightly clamp it, and that will help give the feed rods nice support right there. And on this end, you have an oil cap that you can put some oil in here that oils the bushing for the lead screw here. And I believe the actual feed rod has a ball bearing in there. So another feature that the lathe has is an automatic stop for your feed. So if you're feeding longitudinal and you want to come up to a stop, you can take this collar right here. You can move this off out of your way, obviously. But once you set your stop position that you want, you've got this plate here that's adjustable as well. Let's just snug it up right here. I'm using a 5mm Allen wrench here. All right, we'll engage, we'll turn it on. I'll run this down close, and we're gonna go ahead and engage longitudinal feed. Let me get it up there a little closer. And what it'll do, it's gonna come up and push that collar and disengage the feed rod. Right there, okay? So once it comes to a stop, just disengage the feed lever, back it up, and then there's your automatic stop. If you come up by manually, you can see it. It just disengages it over here in the feed box is all it does. So the lathe is equipped with a coolant pump, so we can provide flood coolant to the tool. That's what this switch is right here. I don't have flood coolant in there yet. I'm going to do that later, but we'll go ahead and turn it on just so you can hear the pump work. Real quick and easy. And of course, this is your coolant spout here. So you got a flexible nozzle and you got a ball valve to turn the flow of the flood coolant on and off as needed. In addition to the adjustable feed rod stop right here, the lathe does come with a micrometer stop that you can slide this anywhere you want, clamp it tight, and then you can use this for fine adjustments for if you want to manually come up with the hand wheel and come up until it just stops manually. That's a great feature to have there too. One of the features of the lathe that I really like is having a front access chip pan right here. This pulls to the front, so you don't have to get behind the lathe to access the chips and clean it out. So what I want to point out is it does come with these two clamps that bolt on and actually keep the chip pan from coming out. There's a mount location here and one right here. Now I took those off obviously, and that's important with shipping. I don't know how important those would be while the machine is actually being used. So I'm planning on keeping them off, and I don't know if I need them, but if I see a reason to put them back on there, maybe use of the machine is causing this to start moving a little bit, we'll put them back on there. But until then, I'm going to keep the clamps off and keep them in the toolbox. But what I wanted to show you is this is how you access your chips right here. So this will pull all the way off if you want to, but you can pull it out and it rests on the casting. Get in here and scoop all your chips out, clean the chip pan out, push it right back into place just like that. Really cool. And you can see this is your foot brake here, instant stop. Nice safety feature. Another design feature that I like about this machine, and it's a feature that I always look for anytime that I was hunting and trying to research machines in preparation to trying to make a decision on one, is this has a fully casted bed. Never mind the chip pan here, because this is actually sitting on the bed, but you have a full cast bed for the tailstock or the foot. It goes underneath all the way to the headstock side. That adds a lot of rigidity to your machine and helps absorb vibrations and dampening there, and I think provides a more solid foundation and rigidity to your lathe. So we did have the DRO equipped at Precision Matthews for the lathe here, Magzact MX200. I have not used this yet, so I haven't learned all of the functions, but it does come with the owner's manual and explains how to use this and every available feature on it. Just wanted to go ahead and show it to you. It just says push any button, and then we will get in there to our readings. I'll move the carriage for you. There's our Z, and then the cross slide. There's the movement there as well. So really nice feature to have on any machine, but really excited to have this mounted on the new Precision Matthews. So looking forward to learning all the functions and getting familiar with this and start using this with some of our machine work. So the tail end of the machine, this is where you access your coolant sump. You got this panel here with the 4 screws that you loosen up to take this panel off. I've already got it loose. Take it off just like that, and then you have a coolant sump that slides out, and then there's your coolant pump, and then this is where your coolant goes. Inside the chip pan, there is a screen where the coolant will dump through and right into the pan right here. So far, I'm really happy with everything about the lathe. I think it's going to be an excellent machine for the shop, and I look forward to putting some use on this and actually seeing how it reacts. We'll do some turning, we'll do some heavy turning, some facing, and kind of compare that to what I'm used to experiencing with my other machinery. So next step from here, I'm gonna go ahead and spend some time and go through the break-in cycle on this. It's gonna take approximately 2 hours because they want you to run each gear range at 10 minutes and then do a final at 10 minutes. At the same time, we're gonna be running our feed rod. So the gearbox there, that's gonna be running too. And then once we go through that break-in cycle, we will do an oil change on it. We'll drain the oil in the headstock and the gearbox down here and then put some fresh oil in it. So once we get to that step of the process here for the video, I'm gonna bring you back and show you the oil change, all right?